Answering the Call of Christ. Much of what the Reverend Dr. Thomas Laird Jones has accomplished in the 60 years since his Maryville College graduation originates in obedience. A native of St. Petersburg, Florida, and an alumnus of St. Petersburg High School, Tom was reared in the Presbyterian Church. At a church youth retreat, he felt a strong call to the ministry. He made and publicly announced the decision. Tom's uncle, Paul Floyd Jones, was on the Maryville College Board of Directors and encouraged his nephew to enroll. He was the first of 5 Jones relatives to eventually decide on MC. Tom arrived on campus in 1948, majored in sociology and minored in physical education. He learned perseverance and the power of teamwork while playing baseball and football under Coach Lombi Honecker, and he flexed his leadership muscles in student council and the men's student organization. While at Maryville, he contemplated ignoring the call to ministry. He wanted to become a millionaire, or so he thought. But in his junior year, he decided that his value and purpose in life would never be determined by his salary. Graduating cum laude in 1952, he headed to Louisville Presbyterian Theological Seminary for a Master of Divinity degree. Leading congregations in Louisville, Orlando, and Miami, and serving on the board of national ministries, he reached out to disadvantaged populations, to Cuban refugees after the Cuban Revolution, and to African Americans during the Civil Rights Movement, becoming convinced of the importance of faith groups' involvement in community efforts for peace and justice. In 1968, Tom took his ministry to radio, and over the next 15 years reached hundreds of thousands through the Protestant Radio Hour and NBC's National Radio Pulpit. In the publicity announcing Tom's affiliation with NBC's program, he was described as a creative, original man with a knack for leading people in new ways. He led people in new ways at Louisville Seminary, where he returned in 1977 to become vice president and adjunct professor. While there, he instituted programs to better prepare future pastors for the realities of congregational life and to provide continuing education to ministers and lay people. He also completed his doctorate in ministry and served as vice moderator and moderator of the Synod of the Covenant. But in 1980, he was missing the work of the local church and accepted a call to Chevy Chase Presbyterian in Washington, D.C. On the membership rolls at Chevy Chase were political heavyweights: Vice President Walter Mondale, Senator Jim Sasser, Congressman John Spratt, and Condoleezza Rice, who was working with the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Tom saw opportunities for the church to influence national policy for the less fortunate. Interpreting the Washington scene through theology became a hobby of Tom's, but more than that, he started a program that regularly brought Presbyterian ministers and politicians together to examine important issues through the lens of faith. It was also while at Chevy Chase that Tom chaired the General Assembly's Social Justice and Peacemaking Ministry Unit. The Presbyterian General Assembly of Ireland invited him and others to Northern Ireland to help in their efforts for peace and reconciliation. It was during several trips to Ireland that Tom began to see the importance of housing in eliminating poverty. Feeling called to be more of an advocate for the poor, he sought new opportunities for ministry. He found Habitat for Humanity International, a nonprofit ecumenical housing movement that seeks to eliminate substandard housing from the world by building and repairing houses in partnership with those who would not otherwise qualify for a conventional home mortgage, and by helping influence systems that impact decent, affordable housing. He later reflected in an interview, "I was led to Habitat for Humanity International, a Christian organization which exuded my values and perhaps which needed what I had to offer, contacts in the Washington, D.C. area, and some insights into how Washington and its political systems work, or often don't work." As founding managing director and vice president of the nonprofit's Washington, D.C. office from 1991 until 2005, Tom worked to spread the message of decent housing for all and mobilized people who could do something about the crisis, from elected officials and staff members in the White House and Congress to corporations, to professional organizations like the National Association of Home Builders. And in doing so, he helped raise Habitat for Humanity's profile. Following the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, it was Tom Jones and Habitat called to represent the nonprofit sector in Red Cross meetings with President George W. Bush. A year later, he reconnected with President Bush for a build in Waco, Texas. Today, Tom remains on Habitat's senior leadership team as an ambassador at large. He frequently represents Habitat and its CEO to outside groups and is the point person for Habitat's interfaith involvement in the U.S. and overseas. Tom has predicted that he will die never having earned a six-figure salary, but he has contributed so much more to society, and much to the causes he believes in, including his alma mater. He is a member of Maryville College's Society of 1819 and the Calvin Duncan Society. He has served on the college's National Advisory Council and Board of Church Visitors. In 2004, he was instrumental in getting Habitat founder Millard Fuller to deliver the college's commencement address. That summer, he helped MC sophomore Anna Nichols secure an internship in Habitat's Washington office. And wanting to support the college's Habitat for Humanity campus chapter, Tom established in 2006 the Thomas Laird Jones Habitat for Humanity Fund, which provides money for home constructions and advocacy programs. Maryville College's current mission statement wasn't around when Tom Jones was a student, but few have embodied its ideals more than he. For living a life as citizen and leader, searching for truth, growing in wisdom, working for justice, and dedicating a life of creativity and service to the peoples of the world, we proudly present this alumni citation to the Reverend Dr. Thomas Laird Jones. Congratulations, Tom.